when I do hiking, I never aim for trails that are challenging or risky. I don't have an ego about stuff where I'm like, oh, I can do this. No. I do value safety. A lot of this was just complete ignorance. So for example, in Newfoundland, those trails where I had those trouble, all of them were marked very easy. The thing is that they're easy after the tourist season has started, the snow has melted, everything like that. They were not easy before then. So another example of I hate remembering this one. In a provincial park in BC, there's this place where they have two different trails that are parallel at different elevations. And so one of them loops way over and goes to the other side of a river and comes back down. I didn't want to do the full loop. So what I ended up planning to do was I was just going to go up that trail and then come back down, not do the full loop, just go until I felt about halfway tired and then come back. But right around the point where I might have turned around, there was a trail marker for another trail. And so I look on my little map and sure enough, there's a little trail that connects the two, the two that are pretty close to each other otherwise, right? I don't know if you listen carefully to how I just described the setup for that, you may have realized the mistake I made that I did not think about when I was up there, which is there is a short trail connecting the two, right? But they are at very different elevations. So that would imply that this short trail is very steep. I did not put this together at the time. So I start going down this trail and initially it's like there's a lot of trees. By the way, if you didn't know, a lot of British Columbia is temperate rainforest. So there's a lot of fallen trees that people have turned kind of into very steep steps. And then it starts hairpinning and it starts to be to the point where I have to sit down on the edge of a tree and then let myself drop down to the next step below. What this means is at a certain point, I cannot turn back because I would not be able to climb back up those things that I dropped off. Also to add, I had my dog with me. So there's an added element there. So it starts hairpinning. It starts hairpinning with like these like miniature cliffs and ledges and stuff like that. And we get to one. Oh, guys. We get to one where the vertical cliff above the trail has a tree growing out sideways. The trail is fairly narrow and it has a long ledge and the tree kind of pushes into it, which meant for me to safely get past it, I kind of have to hug the tree a little and lean back over the trail to get past because I'm just tall enough that becomes an issue. And my dog is yanking at my leash the whole time. So once again, I just sat down on a log and I cried for a little bit. Not like, I'm not sobbing, just a little bit of stress tearing up where I'm like, I just keep getting myself into these situations where I'm super high up and I'm afraid of heights and there's a situation that requires me to tackle this fear of heights and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Oh, and I was also having a hard time seeing where the trail was. I kept looking for the little, like the neon ties in the trees and stuff like that. Anyway, it was a disaster. And then eventually after about half an hour, I was like, okay. So, what I ended up doing with my dog is I tied his leash to a branch just on the other side of the tree. And then I did it so that he couldn't yank at me. And by the time I got to the bottom of the trail, which is the lower trail of the two that I'm talking about in this canyon, like my knees are shaking. I am soaked with sweat. Both from the fear and also from like the leg muscles required to keep stability and a lot of these like slippery kind of narrow spots and stuff like that. The thing is that this lower trail in this canyon is paved, has very little elevation. So I emerge from the trees, I don't know, probably looking like a nightmare. And there are people with strollers and toddlers because it's paved. They're looking at the pretty river. The parking lot goes straight into this paved trail. And I like burst out of the trees. There's twigs in my hair because at one point I was really leaning back against the log. Oh no, every time! Anyway, that's the story. So I'm really bad at doing this to myself. Anyway, we're gonna do 2 rounds of words on stream. I'll see you guys after the ads are done. Bye-bye.